Good evening. Welcome to Socratic Theory. I am your host tonight, Socrates Trinidad. We're going to be talking about an important topic today, ending partner abuse, sexual exploitation. I have a special guest with me today, and I'm excited to introduce her. She's a community leader, passionate about human service field. She works at Center Board as an outreach worker with We Rise, and I want to welcome Kiara Sandlar.
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much for being here with us today. I'm very excited to be able to have this conversation, to be able to share with everyone the importance of finding the resources when in a difficult situation. But before we get into that, we want to get to know a little bit more about you, Kiara. What are you about? How did you get to this journey? And what we'd like to share about you.
Sure.
For the audience, get to know you a little bit.
Got you. So my name is Kiara Sandlar. I am 30 years old. I currently reside in Lynn, Massachusetts. So I've been working with the community just about 4 years now at Center Board. So I started off there as a youth residential worker. I started off working at the group home, just doing like direct care work. And so that I ended up kind of taking some time off and just doing my own thing. And I ended up returning to Center Board just because life happens, and that's kind of what happened for me. So I ended up right back there, and I ended up working at the housing program. So we helped families in shelters, and just basically I was there for about 4 or 5 months. The reason how I ended up at We Rise is that it's actually really interesting because at the group home, there was a clinician, and I was just we had a great relationship. And so one day as I was leaving my housing job, she reached out to me and she said, listen, I want you to be a part of this program that we're starting. And so she told me a little bit about it, and I said, okay, I mean, it was just very close to home. Right. And I was like, I got to do it. Yeah. So I ended up, going ahead for the interview, and here I am. I've been with We Rise for about a year.
That is unbelievable. I know that, life happens and you take turns, and sometimes, you try to fight against the grind, but, everything works out in God's plan, and we're so, yes. And I bet you it must be a fulfilling job for you as it's close to home. And, I've also worked at Center Board as a volunteer. It's been great. They have a great organization there where they help the youth, and they help a lot of people try to get to a better spot, a better place.
Right.
And what is Center Board all about? Let people know what Center Board is in Lynn, and tell people the importance of using this resource.
So a lot of people that I talk to, they're not really fully aware that Center Board even exists, which is crazy because they provide so many services for the community of Lynn. And so we basically are a nonprofit organization, and we provide services. We provide youth services. We have residential programs. We have independent living programs. We also have teen parenting programs. So we help like young moms and their kids get, financially stable and situated in housing. We also have a family resource center, and that's actually located on Johnson Street, and we provide all types of resources for the Lynn community.
That's amazing.
Well, I got more for you. Hold on. So
keep going.
Listen, we also actually opened up a COVID program recently. Wow. So we have, when we have basically like a housing situation for people who have COVID, right. And we basically provide their needs there. A lot of our, if our residents or people that we already serve, they're also, taken care of in that program. I think I'm missing one. We have a mentoring program, which you're familiar with.
Yes. I like that service.
Yeah, so we have mentoring program. We have our We Rise program. We also have tutoring, services. So it's So I mean,
it's a lot of services, and
it's a lot of services. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. A lot of people don't know about Center Board.
Right.
I've been living my whole life in Lynn, and I've kind of been around the community, and still haven't really been familiar with it until I started volunteering there. Once I heard you was working there, I'm like, I gotta check this place out. Kat is there. Like, it must be a great spot because I've been knowing you for a long while now. So I'm like, okay, I'm excited to know what this program is all about. I started to learn about it. I'm like, oh wow, the amount of services that you guys provide, as you just mentioned, is definitely something that it's inspiring, and definitely something that everyone should take a chance to look at and try to see what services they can use from Center Board in Lynn.
It's funny because some things are just sort of like as it comes, I guess you could say. I personally have always wanted to work in the human service field, like just that social work. I was a preschool teacher like way back, right before I started with Center Board. And I was like, I want to do more. I want to do more with people. It's an unlimited amount of things you can do for people in the human service field.
Absolutely.
Like I'm into counseling. I'm into just like therapy work and all that kind of things, and just providing, support and all that. So, and just kind of like guiding people, like kind of like a life coach. So that's like my main goal, is to be a life coach. Right. And so I feel like Center Board has given me like a variety of experiences. Like I said, housing experience with teen moms, and working at this program now, and just with youth too. Like that was a huge eye opener. Like a lot of people sleep on those kids that are in DCF programs, and it's just like, they have nobody, you know what I'm saying? And they just feel like they're just somebody in the system that is just kind of forgotten. And when you become that one person that like kind of just reminds them like their value, the sky's the limit for them, And I still connect with my old residents from the youth program. And so it's just been a huge blessing. I guess you could say my vision is just sort of to continue to get the experience I'm getting, to eventually be able to, have my own sort of, you could say like my own business in a way, but I want to, I want to open up something of my own where I can provide the same kind of services. And I don't have it figured out yet. Like I said, it's just one day at a time. But again, I feel like everything that I've wanted to do is just I've been able to do at this program. And I'm like, okay, I want to do more, so.
Yes. And so for everyone out there, Kiara's here with us, talking about how she wants to be an inspirational life coach and be able to do more. And there's a lot of services. I have a podcast right below. Just check it out. And where you'll be able to learn more information on who can mentor you to open up your business and give you a business plan. It's all for free with U.S. Small Business Administration, and they'll be able to help you get there. So any resource that you might need, Kiara, just be able to do that, right?
Yes.
Reach out to them and tell them your plan, what you want to do, and they will help you walk you through the steps.
Gotcha.
All for free. Small Business Administration in Boston.
Awesome.
So as you are, figuring out how to be able to, elevate that other aspect of your life and starting your own business and be able to provide those services and help the youth. Here at Fly Kids, we also do that for the youth, and we provide those services and be able to, mentor them and get them through. As I'm a life coach myself, an intro to leadership, and we're doing this podcast to be able to share our information. So whenever you're ready to come back and tell us more about your business, so we can share with the world, please let me know.
Awesome.
So we can be able to share that and promote, all the great things that you're doing in your experience, which is very valuable.
Thank you.
But there's a big concern in our communities, which comes down to, I'm trying to find solutions and input on, domestic violence and abuse, whether it's with, a family member, whether it's with a woman, a man, whatever the case may be. Domestic violence is something that I believe we should all try to find a solution to. And what's that solution look like in your eyes? And how have you been able to provide services and help for others?
Okay, so I strongly agree. I feel like that's a big problem worldwide that is, is really like swept under the rug, I guess you could say. And I feel like the first step is awareness, sort of just like speaking about it, you know what I'm saying? It's real. And so I think awareness is key. And the more of us that kind of speak on it and work together to kind of like address that situation and be, to sort of like help end those kind of things, it definitely all starts with just saying like, I'm here, and this is a very real thing going on, and so even with what I do, exploitation of children and youth, again, it's been going on for a very long time, and that's just like, it's very, what's it called? It's very hidden, and it's been going on in Hollywood. It's been going on, you know what I'm saying, up there, and people do not talk about it. And those who talk about it, they're kind of quieted because it's just sort of like, it's a major issue that I guess a lot of us, the more we unite, I believe power in numbers. And so that's why I say like, we got to spread the word and we got to really be about it, and so I know that, again, as well as domestic violence, just sort of all types of abuse, So we actually, with We Rise, I was a part of a healthy relationships group. So that's another service we provide at We Rise. Not to hop around, but we do prevention, intervention, and recovery work. So we do like individual one-to-one work with the girls. We do a lot of just support. But one of the things that I've seen has been like a major success, you could say, is just providing these support groups. And so that healthy relationships group, basically what we did with that was like, this is something that we all have relationships, right? And again, no one talks about the good, the bad, the ugly, you know what I'm saying? And it's reality, So it's like we address sort of like toxic things that, are toxic in a relationship. We talk about healthy communication, we talk about self-esteem, like how good like self-esteem and like when you value yourself, that plays a huge part on like the relationships that you have, And so I feel like support groups and like we got to take initiative.
Yes.
Just to sort of be like, listen, I am basically an ally to these kind of situations, and a lot of people are with it, but I think it takes like a certain group of people to start that and say like, start that movement, So.
Absolutely. There's numbers and powers, like you said. It shouldn't be that January is the only like human trafficking month and October is the only domestic violence month. Like,
right.
Every day should be an everyday issue where we're trying to solve this problem. We're working together, whether it's, in these community resource centers and be able to provide some type of guidance and knowledge to everyone that we talk to. Hey, are you going through something at home? Hey, just to be able to talk about it and figure out how we're going to find a solution to it. And I feel like that's very important, like you mentioned. But with the mission that you have with Senate Board, how do you see you pushing forward, and where do you see your mission going? And what is that mission with Senate Board as you try to solve these issues and try to work in numbers and try to spread the word as much as we can? And what's your mission on that?
My mission is to show up, This job has truly pushed me beyond my comfort zone in so many ways. It's crazy. And like I said, like I was doing my own thing and this job came to me. And I was like, okay, the first thing that I realized I had to do was sort of confront my own trauma, my own past, my own history, the realities in my own life, in order for me to help these girls and to help people in general. Like I have to be okay, I have to be great, I have to be solid. I can't preach to these people, right? And then go home and my life is just, you know what I mean? And I guess like with this program, it was a reality check. And that's why I say it's been like the biggest blessing, but it's been real hard, because it's been a healing process though. So it's like, to me, my mission is like, I show up, you know what I'm saying? Even when it was hard, I was showing up. And then this job, like I said, it's the trainings, sort of like I had to, lead a few things. And I'm like, I'm the type to be like, keep me in the back, like all the way, please. Like I don't
want to be in the front.
All the way, and it's like, no, like your voice matters, and I guess my mission is also to just use my voice, to kind of like empower these victims, empower these people that, life wasn't too great, they wasn't dealt the greatest hand, but I am a living testimony that you can take what we're given and make something great out of it,
Absolutely. And is there some type of training for the community members, just people around the community that wants to talk about it, but don't know how to talk about it? Or they're like, I haven't received any training or education on it.
Right.
I haven't really heard about any resources within, the community that offers training to be able to talk about this to regular parents and regular people in the community that want to go in for an hour and a half, 2 hours, just let's talk about it, so when a moment comes within their life they can be able to address it, whether it's sexual exploitation, whether it's child abuse, or whether it's verbal abuse. Even at that, it's very important to end that as well.
So, we definitely provide training. We provide training on the CSEC, so the child sexual exploitation of children. So we actually went around and we were providing services for like Leahy, community, they provide community services. We were going around and providing services to DCF, other organizations. So we can absolutely, set something up for like, let's just say individually, or, those willing in the community to get that knowledge, you know what I mean? And so we absolutely do provide clinical, we provide, sort of basic training. It's really up to how much you want, to how much you really, want to take in.
That's amazing.
And so again, we also have workers that are just willing to connect with you. We also are putting together glad you mentioned, we're putting together an advisory committee kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. Like
so volunteers in the community, and we want, DCF workers, absolutely, and let us know what can we do better. Let us know is what we're doing working. Let us know from a parent's point of view what you need us to do, So we're looking for all kind of volunteers, parents, people in the community, workers, because it's a learning process. I'm not going to say we have all the answers.
Right.
I'm not going to say I have all the answers, but we absolutely have the information that, what we use for ourselves to, help these girls is the information we are absolutely willing to spread to the community. We even do trainings for police officers as well, so,
yes. Those are all important, fields to be able to try to impact. And I think one of the most important things is to find a location to do it, find people who are willing to be like, hey, I'm willing to teach a class. If you teach me how to give it, I'll give it. And I have this location at the Fly Kids studio where you can give the class.
Right.
We could get people from Salem to come through with advertising on all of our websites, and people who can make it, they'll make it. If no one makes it, I'll practice my training.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be. So.
Yeah.
That seems like to be something that's very important. People who are willing and locations to be willing to do it. If not, I could do it online virtually now. So with everything going on right now with COVID, how have you been able to overcome the challenges of helping the youth and the children and be able to move this forward and to prevent sexual exploitation with the children?
I will say it's been a huge challenge. It's been really difficult because we were limited with that intimate in-person connection with the girls, and the way we provided services before is looking different now. Safety is first. So again, I think it's been difficult just because we're not able to have that one-to-one with the girls in person right now, It
feels like it's hard to connect, to be able to
exactly,
to
absolutely
get them to share what they're going through.
That's right.
I don't really know you. I don't really feel your vibe through the webcam. It can be kind of difficult. Right. Who really are you? Are you really caring about me, or are you just checking a box?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much something that it's hard to get through and be able to figure out and to talk about something so close and dear and so an experience that can be very traumatizing, where they can. It can really make or break someone, and be able to share that and then not really find the follow-through help that is needed. Because it's not just talking about it. Because you can talk about it, you can vent, you can whatever, and then no one really takes that extra step to find you the follow-through help that you need. That's where it can kind of go sideways, I believe. And, what other ideas you might have to be able to tackle that during these difficult times?
So it's funny because we actually had to recollect, regroup, and say, what could we do? And the good thing about working with youth, they're all about their phones. They're all about, social media, technology, all that technology stuff. It's, that's their life, you know what I mean? So it's actually been pushing us to kind of use what they know and enter into their worlds of technology. And so
start up an app.
Just like that, So we've been doing a lot of work through Zoom.
Nice.
Our support groups are through Zoom, and we do, a lot of FaceTime with these girls. And it's funny, like you said, I do feel the pressure to prove to these girls I care, and I want you to open up. And it's like I said, it's been difficult, but it's allowed me to kind of put myself out there a little more, make more of that contact, and really find different ways to show these girls I'm here, we're here for you. What is it that you need from us, And so kind of moving out of our usual one-to-one meeting with these girls, and I think where there's a will, there's a way. So, I mean, the ways to connect, like I said, there's many different ways to connect. We just got to really figure it out, and technology has been a huge hit with these girls. A lot of them are actually more willing to participate in groups through technology than they are through in person. They're more engaged. This is kind of their comfort zone. So it's been good.
That's good. And that's always something that, that provides relief for people to hear that, it's working. One way or another, whether it's staying in contact, whether it's phone calls, and, staying consistent can be one of the most difficult things, and being able to prove to them hey, I'm here, give me a call, or being able to follow up on a call and then get on a Zoom call, and then being able to be open up, let's continue the conversation, and just proving to them that you're really there to help and get them the resources that they need to overcome their trauma, and making sure that they're emotionally stable and psychologically stable, where they don't overreact or do something that's going to harm them for the rest of their life or for the future. As we see that a lot of these kids and youth end up going to prison, end up going to jail because of not knowing how to handle those emotions, not knowing how to vent or be able to find solutions to their problems. They end up making the wrong decisions. Right. And that's like something that I'm like, okay, cool. I'm really huge on ending recidivism. Like, I want to end veteran recidivism. There shouldn't be no veterans in jail, 1. Right. 2, I'm really huge on trying to get, community policing, which we have a podcast, check it out. And be able to really find the follow-through help, and be able to share. Like you said, awareness is key. So we have to be able to spread the word and let everybody know that these resources are available. I'm definitely down to learn more and be able to share, because I believe that sexual exploitation is not only for women. I do believe that it's for men as well, and for young boys and the youth that need to be able to find someone to talk to. And sometimes that anger can be built up, and not feeling comfortable to talk to a woman, but being able to talk to a guy or whatever the case may be, and just being there as a resource. Maybe if female don't want to talk to a guy, they want to talk to a girl, or they don't want to talk to a woman, they want to talk to a man because they were sexually abused by a woman. Now they want to talk to a man about, like, it's just so many different situations, and just giving them many options.
Right.
So here at Fly Kids, that will be coming soon. Check it out. We're definitely going to be hosting a training, and that's something that I'm going to dedicate myself in 2021 to be able to provide here at least once a month or once every 2 months or whatever the case may be that's needed.
That's awesome.
So that's something I want to definitely push forward. But as moving forward, self-development and self-leadership in your field is something that must be very critical, as the people that we need to help have to be kind of stable mentally, emotionally, and physically to be able to handle, all the traumatizing information that they're going to be receiving. And it could make people cry with the stories, and be able to hold that in and not really, break down in front of a youth to feel so bad about, the experiences that others are going through that we're so fortunate not to go through. Got to be something that's challenging. So how do you connect, that self-development and being able to, end this problem?
I agree. So, with my organization, they're very big on like self-care. We have like weekly check-ins where it's like, are you okay? Like, do you need some time off? Right. Like, how are you processing this? And I think the support amongst each other, like, I feel like this is not just specific to one area. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we're all in this together. Like, if you're a human service worker or you do anything for that is to help someone else, then you're on the same side as me, So it's like, I guess my way of kind of coping, you could say, is just really kind of like, I don't feel alone in this, and I make sure I'm good, I'm great, I have a great support group, I have great friends, I have great family that's like, you're good, and I'm able to vent, you know what I'm saying, and be like, again, I appreciate them for being there for me, because then I could be there for those, you know what I'm saying, those that I work with. So, it's kind of like we're all in this together. My organization is also great with like, just really a lot of self-development trainings. Right. And we actually had a diversity group where we address some heavy things. You know what I'm saying? We talk about inclusion, we talk about diversity and equity, you know what I'm saying? And that's another thing that's an issue, you know what I'm saying? We're not all treated equally. We're not all given the same opportunity, And it's more than just racism, because of your race. It's about classism. It's about sexism, like how you said. Sometimes it's a matter of female, male, also like your what's that called? Your sexuality, preference, your work class. There you go. So it's just been like overall like the areas where we grow as a person. In order for you to be a leader, you kind of got to be solid. Reality is you're human, so you're never gonna be like a superhero type of person. You're always gonna need others. And like I said, I'm grateful that I have the great support group and also the tools. Like I've been given the tools, kind of like those areas where I needed more growth and more self, improvement. I have those tools with my organizations.